Hello, fellow Ark Adventurers, and welcome back. Joe Jurassic / Creptile here. So I wanted to post a follow-up video to the one I had just shown up for, to post about the crazy, debacle that's going on with Snail Games and Wildcard right now with their Ark Ascended package and Ark 2. Crazy stuff, but luckily they've gotten back to us, and a round of applause is somewhat in order for us for pushing back so hard on them that they began to restage their thinking process, and I've changed some things around for our sake. But realistically, after seeing the results, which is why I'm here today, I'm still upset, I'm still disappointed, and I still think it's a problem. But we'll get into that in just a second. So, clarify for those of you guys who didn't see it, my last video, I'll tag it somewhere up here, explains it a bit better, but pretty much Ark 1 was going to be remastered to Unreal Engine 5, repackaged and resold at practically full price with bundled Ark 2 with it, and then given to the public, still having to pay for DLCs to get the full graphical upgrade, and then all official servers were going to be cut. So horrible thing that was going to happen in August. So luckily that's been a bit evaded, but I'm not going to go crazy in depth with the article, but I want to touch on some key points here and stuff that's going on currently. So this is the main, this is the patch notes for the Community Crunch 356 for the roadmap, the Rhino Naktha, cannot pronounce that for the life of me, and other stuff. So this is the new creature coming to Ark, but that's not really the key point of this. That is coming, but that's coming in June, which we'll touch on that in just a minute anyways. The big thing I wanted to talk about here is this, which is the price point and bundle section in this Community Crunch. So essentially what Wildcard have done is they've talked to this daggone headset, I swear. I don't know why it keeps beeping for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but there, fixed it. Anyways, so what they've done is they have changed a couple of things here with the price point and the bundle. First of which, they are removing Ark 2 from the bundle, so they're not having that happen for the sake of the players, for saying that we don't even know what the game is, so don't sell it to us to increase your stocks, which is a horrible thing to do, and they're doing that, which is great. So they've removed that from the bundle, and they've also included the DLCs. However, now it's going from paying $50 to paying $60. So pretty much you'd be buying the game and then one DLC package to re-get everything, which I understand the works ahead of them. And that's also listed all right here. I understand that it's going to be a lot for them to probably convert stuff over to do for remaking everything in Unreal Engine 5 and doing that, but to a lot of people's points in the community, a lot of companies do this for free. A lot of people will do, like, a lot of big games will remaster graphics and do stuff like this for either a very much lower price point or for literally free, hands off. It's just not great. I understand they're doing this for the future, and this is for like the continuation of Ark for games and consoles that are going on for years and years and years to keep it up with the regular stuff, and it is necessary. I think it is a necessary step. I just think they're doing it wrong, and that's what's upsetting me. The biggest thing too is now, so we can look at this backward compatible stuff. They still talk about how the servers are still going to be removed for Ark 1. They're talking about how this Ark Survival Evolved Ascended package is going to be pretty much them guinea pigging with Unreal Engine 5, and that's why I'm honestly really keyed in on this, because you can see all in here that there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of like them trying to figure out what they can add in here, what they want to do in terms of like upping the graphics and fixing issues, and they're promising all this stuff that they can do with access to this software. Well, I'm not heavy in game development. I've tinkered around a little bit in some stuff to design like little tiny things, and I've never published anything, but I've just like tried some different like coding stuff in Unreal Engine 4 before and done some stuff in Unity, so I'm not nearly an expert on this stuff, but I know a graphical engine change from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5 is a lot, period. And for them to deliver all of that concise information, even to the extent that they have delivered information on promises they're going to do, I think it's bogus. I think there's no way, shape, or form that they're going to release this in August. And if they do release it in August, I think it's going to be a mess. I think there's no way that this team, given their history, given what they do with stuff, is going to learn this whole new engine in the cycle of 4 months. And granted, they've been working on it before. I'm sure they've been doing this for a while now. I'd hope, maybe. But they've been working on this for a while now. and they're trying to work with it, but I just think there's no way they can patch this up. They're trying to sell this package to make it seem like it's going to work better for us, and it's possible that it will, but I definitely do not think it's going to be an August thing. And that gets into a bigger subject, because they've talked about removing the servers. They're still doing it. They're still planning on doing it, which I think still is not good. And they try to justify that in this article. A bit about how, well, it doesn't make sense for us to allocate technology to doing it. You know, there's just no reason, you know, without upgrading. Like, why would we even hold on to it? That kind of stuff. And, you know, they try to sugarcoat it a little better than that. But it's practically what they're saying. And it's just like, you know, if like think about this scenario for a second. If they go all the way to August, right, and this is like been prepping this release date for this whole time, like, so now, and literally now, players who have these bigger tribes and stuff they've done and bases are literally going in, destroying all their stuff and removing themselves from the game, either saving it on official servers, or they're just quitting in general so people can't have access to their stuff, all kinds of things, because they don't want to buy the game. Imagine all this happens with a bunch of different players across the player base just to find out that it's going to get delayed, or just to find out that the servers are staying up longer than expected, or to find out that they found a way to transfer everything from one to the other, because they don't have that promise yet, so they're not promising it, but maybe they find out a way to do it. Like, that's the problem with them removing the servers so quickly. Even if they gave a gestation period of like 6 months or a year of just keeping them up, just enough to like, for even if it, like, even they condense the list a bit, that would help, because then they could work on this game and figuring out ways they can get the player base to work with it. They can keep the players who are still in the old game happy, and they can still work on the new stuff. And I know they have a lot on their plate, but they signed themselves up for this. This is nothing that they've put these problems on themselves, which is why I really have no mercy with what's going on here. And just it's so tragic with this stuff. But all these players are like freaking out because their official servers are going to be gone, you know. And that's what, like, this point comes into play. Like this creature, it's awesome and all. Like, I'm really excited to put it on my list for my challenge and stuff, because I'm a single player guy and doing my thing. But for all the official servers, they're imagine you're getting updates and events for June that you're not going to want to play in, because now August is just terminating everything anyway. So why work for anything? I've played the base game of Ark like a lot of you have, and the reason I stopped playing it was because how gruelingly slow it was. It was one of the big reasons. Like, it is such dedication to play that game. Like, you have to be online every day, all day. It's hours of time to tame dinosaurs. It's hours of time to get babies imprinted, if not days sometimes. It's all this time to get your base allocated and set up. Hours in getting defenses so it can at least be automated to help when you're not online. There's like so much that goes into this game. Resource allocation, you know, self-management on your own, like, you know, for water and food. Like, it's so much going on in that game that you have to be dedicated to, and tens of thousands of hours just to be integrated into an official server and stay afloat. And then they're just going to cut it all off. So there's no reason for anyone to even keep playing official servers if they're going to get wiped right now, unless you transport everything to unofficial, which is, you know, really your primary avenue. Either you transport to unofficial, which I think, in my opinion, going forward, there's a lot of game services that do unofficial stuff. If you can't host your own or build your own up, I think there are a lot of services out there now that are hosting big official networks for unofficial gamers for different stuff, depending on the game. And Ark is one of them. And I think that that's where a lot of the player base is going to stay. I just don't think they're going to buy the upgrade out of spite, which makes sense. I mean, some will, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of content on it at the time. But it's just, it's so tragic. I'm not for it. They don't have a good delivery record. I mean, anyone who's been in the Ark community knows these guys cannot stick to a date, ever, period. Like, they shouldn't even throw them out there. They should just say late summer, just so they can give themselves the excuse of backing up, because they say August and it's going to be November, and now they're going to be pissing off even a crap ton more people because they've kicked themselves off official servers way too early, because there's no point of playing anymore, which makes sense given what this news is. And then they're going to change their mind, or they'll do something where they figure out some other avenue, or they delay things, and it's just, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. So, I mean, my remedy for you all going in the future who are getting into Ark now, you know, do yourself a favor. Don't get on official. Just go on unofficial servers. Save yourself the trouble. It's the safest thing you can do right now for yourself. If you're a single player person, you're completely fine. You know, if you're like myself, who does challenges, or, you know, which I also recommend you check out if you want to find a new way to play Ark in a new enlightening way. Thing I'm figuring out right now, but it's a challenge that I'm doing. Definitely check it out if you want to. I'll link it in the description. But just yeah, we're gonna have to start getting a bit more, you know, reserved in what we're doing with this game if we want to stay afloat. There's just no other way around it. We can't risk these people. They've been as transparent as they want to be, but realistically, it's not a good situation regardless. And the price knock up, I'm not happy about either. Like, again, I know it's a lot of work to get those DLCs and everything refitted into the game, but we bought all those already. Like, it's the same content but just patched up, and like those patches aren't even guaranteed to work. Like, we have no clue, no concrete proof or clue that this is gonna work. And it's like, they're not doing TLCs for all the dinos, which should be a thing they could do if they really wanted to get everyone on board. They're not like revamping the human model that we know of. And they're not going to make those promises if they are doing that, because then they're going to fall on those things. So, realistically, it's more of a wait-and-see game. I'm still not planning on getting it. I mean, I would only get it if it was like maybe a $10 to $20 upgrade at the minimum. At minimum, that would be at the most I could probably get to this game. Or max, I should say, not minimum. But, like, that's what they should be charging for this, because if they're going to charge anything, like the full price for the same game, it is the same game. Like, you can patch it up as much as you want, do stuff, and like they can claim this is how they fix things that have been long-going issues, and maybe it's true, but we don't know that. We just don't know that, and they've just never delivered before on that caliber. They've had over 8 years to work on this. They've had so much time to work on this game and patch it up and make things better. And they have to an extent, but a lot of stuff is still broken that could be fixed, that wasn't problems in other video games of its title or of its caliber. So that's just my forethought on it. And again, there's a lot of other YouTubers who are covering this article specifically in a lot more depth. I'll link some in the description that I checked out that you should definitely look into if you want more in-depth analysis from bigger Ark YouTubers, because, you know, obviously that's going to get a bigger audience, and that's what matters, is to get the word out about this stuff. But before I go, really wanted to say I really appreciate all of you coming out to my last video. I'm a very small channel clearly right now, and that was a massive explosion of content, you know, at least for me, in terms of viewership and comments and likes and stuff. And I've already gained, I think over like 13 to 14 different subscribers from that video alone. So all of you who checked that out, gave it a like, came, subscribed, and more so, from the bottom of my heart, that means a lot. And you know, I'm going to keep making good content for you guys in hopes to continue to grow and get this community going, and try to give you guys, the Ark community, which is the whole reason I started doing the challenge that I'm doing, the whole reason I've even making videos at this point, is to try to give both myself as an Ark player and the Ark community a new way of experiencing a game that honestly has stuck with me for this long for good reason, because it's, regardless of the developer's sake, I'm a huge dinosaur fan, of course, like all of you guys. So, you know, it's just the passion lies there, and I want it to be a good game. I really want it to be a good game, and that's where it all comes from. So thank you guys for joining with me for this one. Stay tuned in case there's more updates on this stuff, but until then, I'll catch you on the next cracking adventure.